What's up, football family? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Show. I'm your host, PL Culture. It's week 16, everybody. That means there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is, if you're watching this show today, that means you made it to your Fantasy Football Championship game. Congratulations to you. I'll be there alongside you this coming Thursday through Monday. Pat on the back there. But enough about me. This is strictly about you. Now, on to the bad news. The bad news is, with this being the championship week, there are no more games, regardless of whether you win or lose. Therefore, there's no more episodes. So this will be the season finale for 2010. I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking with each and every one of you each week, and very excited for you and your championship week this week. So as we've done in the previous playoff episodes, we're not going to insult your intelligence on telling you the obvious start and sit people on your team. If you've gotten this far, you've pretty much got a good hold on that. We're just going to highlight a few players that you may be iffy about starting as your third or fourth wide receiver, or as your third/flex position running back. We'll definitely address a few of those. If they're on your team, get them in your lineup this week. I certainly hope that everyone gets that W and gets to lift that championship trophy high above their head. All right, so let's get started. Now, there's two players that I want to highlight from our Christmas night game that should do you well in your fantasy football championship game. The first one will be Mr. Felix Jones, running back of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, as you've seen the last few weeks, Felix Jones has been on an absolute tear since filling in for injured starter Marion Barber. He's basically averaged over 100 yards from scrimmage the past 4 games. Now, this week's opponent, the Arizona Cardinals, will be a very favorable matchup for you, especially with the title hopes on the line, as the Cardinals roll out their 30th ranked rush defense. Now, the Cowboys put up over 200 yards rushing last week against the Redskins, and the Arizona Cardinals were pounded pretty bad by Carolina Panthers offense that's not that great. So that spells a lot of success for you for Felix Jones. Get him in your lineup. Now, if you want to look across the field, we can take a look at Larry Fitzgerald, stud wide receiver of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, generally Fitzgerald wouldn't fall into the flex play third, fourth wide receiver option due to his past history, but the shoddy quarterback play in Arizona has left him with better options at times on your bench. Now, this week is definitely a week to put him in your lineup. It looks like now this latest chemistry experiment at quarterback, John Skelton for Arizona, seemed to have had the best chemistry with Fitzgerald so far this year. Last week he did put up over 120 yards receiving, had several catches, and was targeted even more than that. And this week's opponent, the Dallas Cowboys, it's almost fitting that the game is on Christmas, because this secondary loves to give and give and give. Big plays, big penalties, yards through the air. So much to the tune that 4 out of the last quarterbacks they faced has passed for over 300 yards. That does include Rex Grossman, who hadn't played a game in how long? Bottom line, if me and you were playing, I would probably ask to start you or myself. I think I can put up about 312, a couple of picks, but a swing pass touchdown. But I digress. Yeah, Fitzgerald is definitely a must-play. The Dallas Cowboys do have one of the worst secondaries in the league, and they give up points and yards in abundance. So this looks like that this will be a great Christmas night shootout for fantasy owners of both those players. Now, if you want to take a look at another player that has basically gone MIA for a few weeks, but this will be a great week to get him back off of your bench, would be Mike Sims-Walker, a wide receiver of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Walker had missed some time on and off with an injury. He did come back last week and put up 2 touchdowns against Indianapolis. Now, prior to his injury, he was one of David Garrett's go-to receivers, and it looks like that chemistry is going to continue to build. The fact that they're in a heated playoff race means that he will be on the field, Sims Walker, so will Garrett, so will all of the starters, and they will be playing to win. Now, that's something that you definitely want to take a look at when looking at your rosters this week, where your team sits. Now I think the NFL did a great job of keeping the divisional games for the final few weeks of the season, because it definitely helps all of us. So we don't have to worry about starters being set, with the division and the playoffs already locked up. So that does help us this week. Now, What I will say as far as Mike Sims Walker, he gets an excellent matchup as well as he takes on the Washington Redskins, who are one of the few teams that are even more giving than the Dallas Cowboys on defense. They rank second to last in yards per game, and they give up a plethora of touchdowns. And so with Jacksonville being in a must-win game, you can definitely look for Sims Walker to be a viable play at the flex or at the third or fourth wide receiver position. Now we move on to our last Homer alert for the 2010 season. Now, if this is your first time watching, definitely congratulations on making it to the championship game, and shame on you. Now, we've been bringing you the goods for the last 15 weeks, and you definitely want to get us checked out next year. We're definitely going to get you into those playoffs again next year. But I digress. Real quickly, the Homer pick is that player that you play week in and week out, regardless of who his matchup is and regardless of how he's produced for you in the past, because of where you drafted him and who his name is. Your Tom Brady's, your Peyton Manning's, your Adrian Peterson's, your Chris Johnson's, the players that you take in the first 2 rounds that you play as a pride play. Now, this week's Homer alert will be Mr. Jonathan Stewart, running back of the Carolina Panthers. Now, I know if you just flipped back just a week ago, I told you that he was a must-start for you, and he pretty much was. He did hook you up to the tune of 137 yards rushing, but that was against Arizona. This week he gets the Pittsburgh Steelers and their number 1 ranked rush defense, giving up less than 65 yards a game. Also, keep in mind the fact that Carolina doesn't have an explosive offense, so if you're Dick LeBeau and the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're going to load up that 3-4 and load up to stop the run and force the young and inexperienced offensive line and quarterback for the Carolina Panthers to beat you through the air. I don't think that that's going to be a recipe for success. And if you're in the Fantasy Football Championship and you have another player that has a better option against a lesser ranked defense, why wait? Pull the trigger. Go for it. There is no tomorrow. Whether you win or lose, it's over this week. So be on alert. Now, I certainly want to thank each and every one of you that's tuned in this year. It's been my personal pleasure to bring you the fantasy football do's and don'ts this season. You're my fantasy football family. I certainly hope, and Lord willing, we'll be able to do this again next year. In closing, I always like to tell you that life is a sport, so always play to win. It's your boy PL. Be on the lookout for Sports Talk with PL. It doesn't end with just football. We'll be covering a variety of sports topics off and on, so keep your YouTube game up. Keep on the lookout for Mr. PL Culture. I will be delivering you the goods. In closing, life is a sport, so always play to win. It's your boy PL. I'm out for 2010. God bless, football family.